listening to us live over WIMG 1300 on the AM dial, and over the internet we can be heard at WIMG1300.com. And if you're watching on television, it's via Channel 25, Mercer County, New Jersey. And today on the program, I have a new friend named Shalanda Williams. Shalanda is representing the Crisis Ministry. And this organization is truly what partnering is all about. The organization was started by two different denominations of the Christian faith, Nassau Presbyterian Church and Trinity, if I'm not mistaken. However, Shalanda, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So before we get started, Shalanda, tell me a little bit about yourself. Are you a native Trentonian? And a little bit about your family.
Yes, I was born and raised here. I'm a single mother of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Love Trenton.
Amen on that. Amen on that. And how long have you been working with the Crisis Ministry?
Well, originally I came to the Crisis Ministries as a job search volunteer. They have a program there that helps people that are on government assistance find employment. I started there in 2010 and became an AmeriCorps intern, which I am now the Food Services Assistant Director underneath Mark Smith.
Excellent. Now, let's go back just a second. So talk to me about the AmeriCorps, because I have some connections with AmeriCorps and Vista. So can you sort of explain the program and for most people who have never heard of that program, what it is?
Well, AmeriCorps is a group of people different ages that get together and do what we call a service that helps the community in various areas: hunger, homelessness, agricultural, a lot of different things. So
okay, great.
And it's two, like you said, it's two different forms: AmeriCorps and AmeriCorps Vista. The AmeriCorps Vistas are more of the research people that are behind the scenes.
Okay, all right. And how did you get involved with AmeriCorps?
Through the Crisis Ministries.
Great. So they actually helped you get started in AmeriCorps.
Yes.
Okay, great. So let's back up a little bit. Again, I'm going forward and I'm going back, so just bear with me. But can you talk to me a little bit about Crisis Ministry? If we were in an elevator and you had 30 seconds to explain to me the organization, the Crisis Ministry, how would you explain it?
Crisis Ministries is an organization that helps the community better have food in their house, food security, I would say. It's a group of people that, and also we do financial help.
Okay.
So we do a lot for the community. We have a farmer's market that we're hoping to start back in the spring.
Okay.
We also do food stamp outreach. We do health education. We do nutrition education. And we're starting a community garden this year, one at the Bethany Community Church that we are at, and on Hanover Street.
Well, I've got to back you up there. Bethany Presbyterian Church. It used to be the Bethany Presbyterian Church. Now it's just the Bethany facility or the Bethany Community Hub, still to be determined. However, in that location, we're partnering with Urban Mission Cabinet, Inc., New Brunswick Presbytery, and the Crisis Ministry, along with the Isles organization, to work on this garden. And you'll hear more about that later as we get a little bit closer to that and for the open house of that. But Shalanda, some of the other programming that you had mentioned, I have some literature here. What is the Lunch and Learn portion of your programs? That's
when our clients can come and get health screenings as far as high blood pressure, sugar, and after we do the screening, we have lunch, and the coordinator comes and she speaks to us about how we can eat better, do exercises, different things to help us be more healthy in our lives. Okay, and that's in partnership with Capital Health, correct? Yes. Excellent, okay. And as far as the nutrition class, can you talk a little bit about that as well? Well, we have a nutrition class that's, I believe, 6 to 8 weeks. Okay. Where the clients come in and they learn more detailed information as far as sugar intake, salt intake, and that is partnered with the Rutgers Extension Service.
Okay.
And we have a instructor come out and go over that with us as well. And then at the end of it, everybody get a certificate of completion.
Okay. Now, is there also an exercise portion with the nutrition, or is it just strictly about
nutrition?
Food? Okay, great. And we're going to talk a little bit later on about some of the nutrition options and the types of food that people can get at the crisis ministry. So your community farmers market, is that the one that's located on Olden Avenue?
No, we're on Hanover.
Okay.
Hanover Street in Trenton.
Okay.
We sit a table outside where we give our clients fresh produce, fresh fruit, various nutrition items to give them that nutrition that they need.
Okay, so you hear that, audience. So there is more than just one farmer's market that's within the Trenton, Ewing, Lawrence area. There's also the one that's on Olden Avenue, right next to the Habitat for Humanity, but also on Hanover Street. And Shalanda, can you talk to me about your different locations and which is your primary location and some of your other locations?
Our primary location is the location downtown, which is currently at 117 East Hanover. Mm-hmm. Then we have another location in Princeton, New Jersey, which is 661 Nassau Street. Mm-hmm. And then we also are at 400 Hamilton Avenue.
Which is the Bethany site. Big up to Bethany Press. And I've been fortunate enough to spend some time with you and with Mark Smith, who is the Food Services Director, and Carolyn Biondi as well, who is the Executive Director of the program. And I've seen the food store that's there. This food store, from the beginning, the trial period in October, up until now, there's been constant changes,
yes.
Just upgrades. Can you tell us a little bit about how Crisis Ministry came into being at the Bethany Center, and also what happened a little over 2 months ago there?
Well,
3 months, I'm sorry.
We wanted to expand in Trenton and have another location. We started at Bethany 1 day a week. Unfortunately, in December, we had a fire, mm-hmm. which we opened up at Bethany 5 days a week. And now I'm happy to say that we're back on Hanover. We're not at our home, mm-hmm. which is at actually 123 East Hanover, but we're at 117 East Hanover, which is right next door. Mm-hmm. So it started off really small. Mm-hmm. We put little shelving first at Bethany, and then once we knew that we had to expand, we did another remodeling where we put heavy-duty shelving to hold the quantity of food we needed to serve our clients.
Mm-hmm. And speaking about the quantity of food, approximately how many families are being served at each location? Do you have that data?
Okay. At Hanover, being that we just opened up, we're serving anywhere from 40 to 50 families a week. At Bethany, we're serving maybe 400 to 500 a month. Mm. And at Nassau, which is in Princeton, we're serving maybe 200.
Okay. Now, through the program, can you tell me how the program works? How do people come to your food stores and get food? What's the procedure?
They would come in and they would bring in a proof of ID, proof of address, mm-hmm. and then they would sit at our intake station where they'll get signed in. We ask them a couple of questions like their income, if they get Medicaid, their address, how many people are in a home, because our the way we serve the clients is we go from either a single family of 1 to a household of 6. Okay. That's as high as we go. And then after they do their intake, we give them a shopping cart and they go in the store and shop.
And there's no charge for this, correct?
None at all.
Okay. And something else I want to point out, and you can share a little bit more about it as well, is the food that is offered is usually donated or purchased, so it's just not one particular level of food. I mean, right. You could have one time you go into this month, you could have a certain quality of food. You could have gourmet food. You could then just have box food. Can you talk a little bit about the quality of food that you're receiving?
Yes, we get food from McCaffrey's. We buy our food from Aldi's, Mercer Street Friends. Whole Food donates food to us. We have various food drives that are done for the crisis ministries. USDA, SFPP.
What are those two acronyms? What do they stand for?
One is from the state and one is from the government.
Okay.
Oh goodness, I know this.
All right. Well, it also says that you take donations from churches as well.
Yes.
So, for example, if a church wanted to have a food drive, they could take in canned goods, produce. Are there any restrictions of what they can take in for you?
No, we don't. Anything helps.
Okay.
We don't turn down anything except for if it's outdated food.
Of course.
That's the only thing that we turn down. Other than that, we are very grateful for those that do the food drives for us and those that donate to us. We are very grateful for anything that they can give.
And I can also attest for when the fire took place at the home location on Hanover Street, and then when Crisis Ministry was also working into integrating a satellite at the Bethany Presbyterian Church location, the outpouring of support, not only financially, but also through people power. There were lots of volunteers there. I'm not privy of the financial information, but that kind of an outpouring of goods and people wanting to get involved and to help, it's obvious to me that people understand how important it is for food and how we as humans can come together, regardless of our backgrounds, our ethnic backgrounds, our religious beliefs, and we can recognize when there's a need. And we can all get involved and we can support that need. So to everyone who did donate either funds or goods or time, thank you very much. The people around the Hamilton, Chestnut area, Columbus Park, the Chambersburg location, they are absolutely benefiting from the efforts that you're actually taking. So, Shalanda, let's jump back again. Talk to me about quickly about the history that you know of the Crisis Ministry.
Well, like you said, it was formed in 1980 between two different churches, the Nassau Presbyterian Church and the Trinity Episcopal Church. We have the 3 locations, and we're serving an average of 500 families. 400 at Bethany, 400 on Hanover, and this is all a month. So it's really good that the people, if they need, they know where to come to get what they need to survive. And
when families come, they can come just one time a month per location, or is that just one time a month per the Crisis Ministry?
The Trenton residents can come to Hanover Street and Bethany locations each one time a month. The Princeton residents can go there twice a month to Princeton. Okay,
so anyone who comes in who's registered, there's no fee for this. You just need to show proof of identification. You need to be a county resident and proof of any dependents that you have, and you can come in and you can shop quality foods that are sometimes donated from McCaffrey's in Princeton, purchased from Aldi, from food drives in churches, and there's a wide range of products that you can get. Not only can you get food, but I've seen that there's also personal items that are there as well. And I guess it all depends on what corporate sponsorship and donations you take. I think there's no reason for anyone in Mercer County to not have toothpaste, because I've seen a lot of toothpaste in the cupboards over at Bethany. So before we go to break, I just want to also plug some other happenings that are taking place over at the Bethany Presbyterian Church location at 400 Hamilton Avenue. I've been fortunate enough to meet Holly McAndrew. Holly is a fashion designer, but she's an eco-friendly fashion designer, meaning that she's trying to use just sustainable goods. She's trying to repurpose or upcycle clothing, so that we don't have to go and purchase items from other parts of the country and then just throw them away. So Holly has started this project through Bethany Presbyterian Church, and she's having an event on Friday, April 13th at the Bethany location. It's called the Rust Bucket Resurrection. And in addition to that, she can be reached at holly.mcandrew, no S, at yahoo.com. And on Thursday night, just 2 days from now, Trenton Social will host a trunk show by Holly McAndrew and the Bethany line of upcycled clothing, and that will be from 8 to 10. And you're listening to WIMG 1300 on the AM dial. You're listening over WZBN Channel 25 in Mercer County, New Jersey, and over the internet, WIMG1300.com. And the name of the program is In the Public Interest. Thank you.
Why spend more than you have to on your life insurance? Did you know that term life insurance rates have fallen over 60% in the last 15 years? At the Life Insurance Quote Line, we monitor the rates, features, and financial strength of hundreds of life insurance products. For example, a healthy 40-year-old can protect his family with $500,000 of 10-year level term for less than $20 a month. Rates for women are even lower. And don't forget to ask us about the new term life policies that guarantee your money back even if you don't die. Since 1986, we've helped tens of thousands of people just like you save a fortune on their life insurance. Why not find out how much you can save? Write down this number and call today for your free quote. 1 5-minute call is all it takes. Call 800-610-3497. 800-610-3497. That's 800-610-3497. Rates, policy forms, and availability vary by state.
And welcome back to In the Public Interest, and this program is called the Trenton 350. I am your host, Jacque Howard, and you're listening to us live over WIMG 1300 AM, and you can see us on WZBN Channel 25, Mercer County, New Jersey, and over the internet we can be heard at any time globally at WIMG1300.com, and I've been speaking with Shalanda Williams of the Crisis Ministry. We failed to give out the website address earlier, but I'd like to do that now. It's The Crisis Ministry. It's the CRISIS ministry.org. It's not the Christ Ministry. It's the Crisis Ministry.org. So, Shalanda, earlier we were talking about the history of the Crisis Ministry, your relationship to it. We touched on your background in Trenton as well as in AmeriCorps, and we talked about some of the services that are being offered through the programming at the Crisis Ministry. What do you have as far as data, like statistical data for the people who are numbers crunchers in the audience who would probably benefit from knowing how many people or what kind of numbers are being served in a community through your programs?
Okay. Well, we are from January to November, we served 11,814 people. We gave out 274 tons of food and produce to date, and we gave we had over 50 food drives contributing to 28.2 tons of food. Okay,
so the households that were served between January and November of 2011, that 11,814, were they families who are repeat, or are they just single families that have come into the program?
Single families.
Really? You hear that, folks? 11,814 single families have been served from January to November 2011 through the Crisis Ministry. Listening to that information, it's pretty obvious that our community is in need, and we should think about doing more of this. I'm sorry. So when we go back to the tons of the food and produce that's been received, 274 tons. Yeah. I can't even imagine how many tractor trailer loads that would be.
Ooh, a lot. A lot.
And you're also part of the team that when those food drives, when you come back to the location, you're working. You're not pushing a pen. You're working, bringing those goods in as well, right?
Yes, yes. Keeps me strong.
Yes. All right. Now, the food drives, you mentioned that there was 50 food drives to date, and that's just in 2012?
2011.
Okay, in 2011. Okay, so a food drive is generally, how's that work? And if some of the locations, supermarkets, I guess.
Well, I could tell you about the one that I did personally. I had a canned fruit food drive for the Crisis Ministries because our donors love to donate to us, but we very seldomly get the fruit that we need to keep it going, because we serve in sections like fruit, vegetables, proteins, beans, and things of that nature. So I went to Olden Avenue, ShopRite. Not Olden Avenue, ShopRite, I'm sorry. I went to the one in Mercer Mall, and they gave us a table where I just had a sign and passed out flyers and asked people to donate to us. And the turnout was very wonderful. It was wonderful. We were there for 4 hours, and I gathered over 100 bags of fruit, $58.34 in cash and gift cards.
Wow! So, folks, when you're leaving a local grocery store and you see the Crisis Ministry table, it's going grassroots, grass top. It's going to the people who are actually in need. And we've got a perfect witness of how that program actually works. So, Shalanda, could organizations contact the Crisis Ministry to do a food drive? Say, hypothetically, a school, a sorority, a fraternity. Who would they would just contact the crisisministry.org, and there's a location for food drives and volunteers?
Yes, they would go on there, and we have a slot where it gives you information of if you wanted to volunteer. It gives you information if you wanted to do a food drive. It also gives you a list of things that we would prefer to accept. I should say, I guess, it's also the food and the personal care items listed on the website. So they can go on the website and get that information.
Good. And just for those who are just joining us, you're listening to In the Public Interest, and this is WIMG 1300 AM, and I'm speaking with Shalanda Williams of the Crisis Ministry, and you're watching us over WZBN Channel 25 in Mercer County, and also over the internet at WIMG1300.com. And we've covered lots of different information about the Crisis Ministry, and this amazed me because I had no idea about food services, food pantries, food stores, and how they operate. And you know how when you're ignorant of something, literally you generally go in one direction or the other. I have been amazed at the quality of the food and the products and the staff at the Crisis Ministry at the Bethany location, and I can only imagine that would go the same for the other locations as well. Can you talk to me a little bit about the actual specific products that you do have? And before you do that, I want to say that I saw Colgate, AIM, Arm & Hammer, lots of different feminine product brands there. Talk to us a little bit about the actual product names, because I'm sure there's some people out there who want to know that as well.
Yes. Well, we are a client choice pantry as well, just to let you guys know, so you don't have to come in here and just get stuff. You can actually get the stuff you need. Campbell's, they also donated a lot of stuff to us as well during the course of our fire. We have Sunkist tuna, Purdue chicken, oh my gosh, it's just so much.
Progresso soup I've seen. Lots of different pastas, yes. Kraft macaroni and cheese, as well as generic brands from Wegmans.
Yes.
McCaffrey's.
Yes.
ShopRite.
Yes.
All right. And you can also, at times, you guys do have proteins, like meats and stuff as well, right?
Yes, we have. Sometimes we have whole chickens. Sometimes we have quarter legs. Sometimes we have ground turkey. Thanksgiving, we give out turkeys. Actually, we give out complete meals for the Thanksgiving dinner. We give clients their turkey, stuffing, cranberry sauce, fresh produce as well. So we have a lot of variety of things that we give during the course of the year. Unfortunately, we don't have the resources to do for Christmas, but we do a nice Thanksgiving basket.
Well, folks, anyone out there who's listening in the area of WIMG or watching over WZBN, if that's something that you think your organization would like to do, I'll put that challenge to you right now. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm action-driven. So if you feel something inside spiritual that's telling you, hey, maybe we ought to take on a partnership with the Crisis Ministry and consider doing something maybe for Christmas or maybe something back to school, don't be shy. Reach out. You can reach them on www.thecrisisministry.org. And I'm sure you can also get in contact with WIMG1300, and I'm sure that we'll be able to get you the information for them as well. So, Shalanda, before we close out, what are some of the things that people should anticipate when they come to the Crisis Ministries food stores?
They should know that they're going to be treated with respect. No one is going to look down on them. They're going to have a smile on their face when they leave. They're going to have items that are going to help their family to better have good nutrition. Mm-hmm. No one is going to make them feel like because they're there that they're less of a person than who they are. So.
And your staff, and I erred to mention this earlier, the staff is bilingual?
Yes. We do have a bilingual staff member on hand. Her name is Maria.
All right. So for our Spanish-speaking audience, I can't interpret English to Spanish for you, but if you come to the Crisis Ministry, you can absolutely, language is not going to be a barrier if you speak Spanish. And again, that website is thecrisisministry.org. Now, Shalanda, can you talk to me about the partnerships that the Crisis Ministry has in the community outside of just food, because I think that you guys do some other programming things as well?
Yes, we also help with financial issues. A client can come in and go through our intake process to get help with back rent, security deposits, utility bills, oil, and things of that nature. And
is the procedure the same for that? You just have to bring in the proof of information that's for the food service as well?
The financial is a little more in-depth than the food service. Fortunately, I don't work in that area, so I don't know the rundown of how they actually do it. But 9 times out of 10, it is a little more stricter than food because you have to bring in everything that's needed as far as like your shut-off notice for your light bill or your water bill, whatever, your income, denial letter if you had a denial letter, and things of that nature.
Okay. And so, again, folks, you can go to thecrisisministry.org and get all of this information on their website. Or if people have the documentation that they need, come to one of the 3 sites that are in the county. You've got the one in Princeton, which is located on Nassau Street. And if you bear with me a moment, I'll give you the exact address. It's 61 Nassau Street in Princeton. Then there's 117 East Hanover Street in Trenton and 400 Hamilton Avenue in Trenton as well, and that is the Bethany Presbyterian Church location. Now, the Client Choice Pantry, I know you touched on it briefly, that it's folks come in, they register, they get their information, and then they're given when you say choice, they're given a card of how much they can take, or can you just explain that?
Yes, on our card we have a point system. So the point system varies from 2 to 8, and the client can choose up to 2 cans or 2 bags of whatever they would like. So it's not like you'll come there and it's a bag of food and you just have to take what's in that bag. You actually get to choose what you want.
And at times you do have fresh breads and bagels and so forth as well?
Yes.
Do you want to put a plug in for the bakeries?
Yes, we get that from Italian People's Bakery, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But a lot of different bakeries do donate bagels and bread to us. I'm not familiar with a lot of the names because I don't go to them and pick them up. So.
Okay. All right, good. So not only are you getting choices for canned goods, personal items, dry goods, but at times you're going to get proteins, produce, fresh fruit, canned fruit, and you're actually going to get locally baked bread. And you can come once a month. There's no fee. Just bring the information that you need that's required, which is going to be a picture identification, proof of address, proof of any dependents. And then you'll be all set with the crisis ministry. And also to put it out there again, I'll reiterate it as you listen to WIMG 1300, that if you feel your organization needs to actually get involved, contact the crisis ministry at thecrisisministry.org. You're listening to In the Public Interest on WIMG 1300 AM and watching us over WZBN Channel 25 in Mercer County and over the internet at WIMG1300.com. And I've been your host for In the Public Interest, Jacque Howard.
Breaking news alert for women using the birth control drugs Yasmin, Yaz, and Ocella. Recent medical studies show an increased risk of blood clots and possible gallbladder problems. If you or a loved one has experienced any of the following: blood clot-related injuries, heart attack, stroke, deep vein thrombosis, pulmonary embolism, or gallbladder removal or surgery, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call now for a free case evaluation, 800-507-7293. If you or a loved one use the birth control drugs Yaz, Yasmin, or Ocella, time is limited to file a claim. Act now. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-507-7293. That's 800-507-7293. Protect your legal rights today. Call 800-507-7293. The attorney responsible for this advertisement is Carrie L. Steigerwalt, admitted in California, office address 4350 Executive Drive, Suite 150, San Diego, California 92121. Cases may be referred to or independently handled by separate local counsel for principal responsibility.
The Filet-O-Fish at McDonald's isn't just the Filet-O-Fish. It's the one and only Filet-O-Fish. And it's tough being the one and only. Look, I know. Like me, the Filet-O-Fish is unique. It's got a golden filet and American cheese on a steamed bun. And like me, we're both one of a kind.
Wait, aren't you a twin?
Well, I was first, so I'm the original.
The simple joy of being unique. Enjoy the one and only McDonald's Filet-O-Fish sandwich for just $2. Or make it a meal for only $4. For a limited time, prices and participation may vary.
What sound does a leprechaun make while drinking a McCafe Shamrock Shake with whipped cream and a cherry?
Oh, I don't know. Let's have a go-see.
What sound does he make when 25 cents of that Shamrock Shake goes to local Ronald McDonald House charities from now through the 17th of March? Shamrock Shakes are back at McDonald's. Pick one up before they're all tapped out.
Oh, that's a good one.
At participating McDonald's for a limited time.
You're busy, you're in demand. You know you've arrived. And A1 Limousine knows how to treat you right. We're there when you need us. With service you can trust. So sit back and relax. Cause you're going places with us. A1 Limousine for people going places. Cause people going places want to go A1.
When you've got an important banquet, dinner, or meeting, go in style and with the class of A1 Limousine. Let A1 Limousine help make your event a success, whether it's a high-power business trip or a night on the town. Call 951-0070, 951-0070 for A1 Limousine.
A1 Limousine for people going places, because people going places want to go A1. A1 Limousine for people going places, because people going places want to go A1. A1 Limousine.
Good evening and welcome to In the Public Interest. I'm your host, Jacque Howard, and this portion is the Trenton 350 program where we like to profile leaders and people in the community and organizations that are doing wonderful things for Trentonians. You're listening to us live over WIMG 1300 on the AM dial, and we can be heard over the internet worldwide at WIMG1300.com. And if you're watching us, you're watching over WZBN Channel 25 in Mercer County, New Jersey. Tonight, the Crisis Ministry is the organization that we are profiling. If you have a couple of moments and you're not driving, take some time and go to their website, www.thecrisisministry.org. And from the Crisis Ministry tonight, we have live in studio Miss Shalanda Williams. Shalanda, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So let's get right into it, Shalanda. We're going to start with you. Talk a little bit about yourself, and are you a native Trentonian, or did some miraculous thing bring you to the city?
No, I'm a native. I was born and raised here. I'm 31. I have 3 children, and I've been here all my life.
All right. All right. So how did you hear about the Crisis Ministry, get involved with the Crisis Ministry, etc.?
Well, I came to the Crisis Ministries as, at one point I was a client. Then I came back as a CWET member in their Harvest and Hold program, where I was helping in the store with the food pantry. And then I became an AmeriCorps intern, which I am now the Food Services Assistant Director.
All right.
Been there since July of 2010. So.
And I've had the pleasure to meet you just shortly after you joined the organization over at the Bethany location, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So AmeriCorps, what is AmeriCorps for the folks in the audience who have not heard of that?
AmeriCorps is an organization that gets a group of people together that do service, and they go and do various things for the community and in the community as far as hunger, homelessness, child info, and then they just go out at different locations and do various things.
Okay, and I've also heard of AmeriCorps Vista. What is that program?
The AmeriCorps Vistas are the ones that do like the hardcore stuff, the research, and giving the in-depth details of the issues that's going on in the city.
Okay. Now, AmeriCorps Vista, is that something that, is there an office that people can find out about that? You have to be invited? You have to have a scholarship? What is the programming? What's it like to get involved?
You can be a college student. You can be out of college. You can be a single person just wanting to help the community. You can go on the Bonner Foundation, www.bonnerfoundation.com, and you can get information on how to become a part of the service team. So
it's interesting that you bring up the Bonner Foundation, because I was going to roll into the next part about the Crisis Ministry, about how it's about partnerships. The organization was formed because of a partnership between Nassau Presbyterian Church and Trinity Episcopal Church in Princeton, New Jersey in 1980. So in addition to that, can you go through some of the other partners that the Crisis Ministry has?
We have various partners. We have public partners, private partners. We're also partnering with the Capitol Health Center. We're partnering with Rutgers Extension Services. So we have a lot of different partners. Some even I'm probably not even aware of.
And that's not even including the partners that are actually dealing with the food and so forth. So talk to me a little bit about the partnership with Rutgers Extension Services.
They help us with our nutrition education, where we give our clients nutrition classes, which are about 6 to 8 week classes, where they come and get in-depth information about different nutritious facts, as far as like salt, sugar, the intake, how to cook with different seasonings to still have your food with taste or whatever. So
Mm-hmm. Now, that is done in-house at all 3 of your locations, or is it at a specific location?
It's at a specific location. It's at the Hanover Street location.
Okay, great. And you also mentioned the partnership with Capital Health, the Lunch and Learn program. What exactly is that?
The Lunch and Learn program is a program where the clients actually can come and get different health screenings as far as high blood pressure, diabetes, and things of that nature. And then afterwards, we all sit together and we eat lunch. And the instructor goes into different areas of information for us to give us a different highlight of the high blood pressure and what things we can do to change that to make our lives better and healthier. And
I would assume that the lunch that's provided is not going to be the kind of food that a lot of us would love to have. That stuff that's fried, or you know what I mean.
Yeah, no.
Okay. And I also see that you've got a program that's called the Community Farmers Market. Can you also talk to me about that as well?
Yes, that's a free farmers market, which before we had our fire was held every Friday at our Hanover Street location, where our clients would get fresh produce, fruits, vegetables, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. And and this was on the Hanover Street location?
Yes.
Okay, so folks, again, some of the wonderful things that are happening in the city of Trenton, the Crisis Ministry at the Hanover Street location every Friday during season has a farmer's market. And from the information I have here, they've distributed over 2 tons of fresh produce, bread, milk, and eggs to 200 families weekly. So there are options for a farmer's market, the farmer's market, and for shopping at a farmer's market. You've got the Hanover Street location. You also have the farmer's market that's located in Ewing, Lawrence, Trenton border on Spruce Street, and then also on Olden Avenue. There's also a weekly farmers market there as well. And if anyone has any more information about farmers markets, you can send that to me, and I will make sure that you get a plug. And you can reach me at Trenton 350 Jacque, JACQUE, at gmail.com. And I'm speaking with Shalanda Williams of the Crisis Ministry, and you're listening to WIMG 1300 on the AM dial. Now let's get back into the specifics, and I guess it's the meat and bones of the Crisis Ministry. The food store, and I've spoken to Mark Smith, big up to the Food Services Executive Director or Director Mark Smith. I will not call it a food pantry. I understand it's not a pantry, it's a food store. So Mark, I hope that you're laughing. I wanted to make sure I said that. Again, it's not a food pantry, it's a food store. So, Shalanda, before we go to break, can you just explain to our audience what a food store is?
A food store is a place where the clients can come and get what they like. We are a client choice food store. We give them the option of getting the things that they like versus the things that they're not going to like, which they're not going to use. Mm-hmm. So they can come and get soup if they like soup, tuna if they like tuna. They don't have to get just what's provided at other sites.
Excellent. And after the break, we're going to get into some details about those products because, as I mentioned to some of my friends and to my family, I was shocked at the service of the food that they get and the quality of it. I had misconceptions, and through my ignorance, I had some other ideas. But you are listening to WIMG 1300 on the AM dial, and we can be heard globally on the internet at WIMG1300.com, and you're watching us over WZBN Channel 25 in Mercer County. This program is called In the Public Interest, and this is the Trenton 350 program, and I'm your host, Jacque Howard. Before we actually go to break, I just want to also put a plug in for an upcycling fashion event that's going to take place Thursday, a trunk show at the Trenton Social. It's being done by a friend, Holly McAndrew. You can go to her website, holly.mcandrew@yahoo.com to find some information. You can also Google her name, Holly Mick, MCANDREW. And she also has a store at Etsy, ETSY.com. Holly is an eco-designer. And what she does is she takes fashions and she upcycles them, changes them, alters them, and then sells them. And there's a connection with her and the Bethany Presbyterian Church location and with Urban Mission Cabinet Inc. and the New Brunswick Presbytery. So she's actually using some of her fashion gifts to repurpose clothing so that it can be given back to the community. You're listening to WIMG 1300. I'm your host, Jacque Howard, and you're watching us over WZBN, Channel 25 in Mercer County, and this program is in the public interest.
Breaking news alert for women using the birth control drugs Yasmin, Yaz, and Ocella. Recent medical studies show an increased risk of blood clots and possible gallbladder problems. If you or a loved one has experienced any of the following: blood clot-related injuries, heart attack, stroke, deep vein thrombosis, pulmonary embolism, or gallbladder removal or surgery, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call now for a free case evaluation, 800-507-7293. If you or a loved one use the birth control drugs Yaz, Yasmin, or Ocella, time is limited to file a claim. Act now. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-507-7293. That's 800-507-7293. Protect your legal rights today. Call 800-507-7293. The attorney responsible for this advertisement is Carrie L. Steigerwalt, admitted in California, office address 4350 Executive Drive, Suite 150, San Diego, California 92121. Cases may be referred to or independently handled by separate local counsel for principal responsibility.
And welcome back to In the Public Interest. I'm your host, Jacque Howard. You're listening to us live over WIMG 1300 on the AM dial, and you can hear us over the internet at www.WIMG1300.com. And if you're watching us, it's via Channel 25 WZBN in Mercer County, New Jersey. I am speaking with my friend, Shalanda Williams. And Shalanda is part of the Crisis Ministry organization. And Crisis Ministry is not only a food service or food store program, but they also offer information and classes for financial literacy, for health and nutrition. And as they progress, I can see there's going to be a little bit more. I don't want to forget anything, but they're doing a hunger prevention. They have a community farmers market. They have a lunch and learn program where they provide you a healthy lunch. And they have a nutrition class, and they have partners with Capitol Health, Rutgers Extension, several different churches and other organizations, and on and on and on. But before we go back into the meat and potatoes about the Crisis Ministry, I want to talk a little bit more with Shalanda about what folks need when they come to the Crisis Ministry. And after you do that, can you tell us how many times people can come?
Okay. Well, to come in, you would need to bring in your proof of identification. You would need to bring a proof of address to state that you are a Mercer County resident. For any dependents under the age of 18, you can bring in their birth certificate, a WIC folder, current immunization records, passport, custody papers, and you are only required to bring that information in every 6 months. And you can shop at the Trenton residents can shop at the Bethany location and the Hanover Street location one time each a month, and Princeton residents can shop at our Princeton location twice a month.
Okay, so just to reiterate that, you need a picture identification. Now, this picture identification, if I'm reading it correctly, it could be a driver's license, state or county issued ID, apartment resident ID, a work ID, or a passport. So don't let that deter you from coming. Of course, you need a proof of address because you have to live in Mercer County. This is a county-specific program. And proof of your dependents. And I'm sure that when you come, if you provide that information, I know you're going to find the experience very, very interesting and heartwarming. And I say heartwarming because not just because of how you're treated, because you can talk about the respect factor and all those things, but people are coming together and people are recognizing that a lot of issues or problems, depending on what community organizing training you have, it doesn't matter who you are. These problems and issues exist. They don't have any biases. If you lose your job, there's no bias behind that. If you have a fire at your house, there's no bias behind that. If you have a sick child or an elderly parent that you're taking care of, there's no bias behind that. It's just a circumstance that we as humans go through, and we need to collectively continue to morph into how we can help each other more. And the Crisis Ministry is doing that. And this is a free service, correct, Shalanda?
Yes.
Okay, it's a free service. You just need your picture identification, proof of address, and proof of any dependents, and it's a client choice program. So when you show up, you're not getting pre-bagged goods. You're going to have a chance to come in and shop. Can you talk to the audience about the layout of your locations?
Well, when you first come in, of course, you got to go through the intake. Then you'll get what we call shopping card. And that lets us know how many people you're shopping for, because you can shop for a single person or you can shop for a family up to 6. When you first get there, you'll stop at our fruit section. Then you'll go to the vegetables. We have beans, canned and dry. Then you go to the proteins, cereal, hot or cold, rice or potato, pasta, and then what we call our extra shelf. That's where all the goodies are, the things that they say we are not supposed to have, because at the Crisis Ministries, we're all about nutrition. So that's why we give you the nutritious foods first and then give you the not so nutritious stuff at the end.
Okay. And in addition to that, you have fresh produce, fresh bread,
yes,
bagels at times, and also proteins like meat, right? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, at times we have whole chickens. We may have quarter leg chickens, ground turkey. Sometimes we even have fish. I remember having fish there too. So it varies. Some of our stuff is donated. Some of our stuff is purchased. Some of it comes from McCaffrey's in Princeton, Aldi's, the State Food Purchase Program, USDA, churches, various food drives, Whole Foods, Mercer Street Friends, Farmers Against Hunger, Yes We Can, church drives, schools, the public community food bank, various people.
So again, back to the partnerships. Yes. We're all in this together. You know, all our blood is red. So we're trying to figure out how we can partner, and Crisis Ministry is partnering with, again, McCaffrey's in Princeton, Aldi, lots of churches in the region, food drives, Whole Foods, Mercer Street Friends, and the organization even goes out. You take cash donations and then you go and purchase food. I would assume that's at a discount.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Okay, I'll have to check with Mark Smith about that. So, how can some other organizations get involved with partnering with the Crisis Ministry to help address the food shortage and the nutritional issues and the other programs that the Crisis Ministry does?
Well, we have our website, which is www.thecrisisministry.org. They can go on there and they can find out the list of foods that, you know, we take, the personal items that we take. They can do a food drive themselves if they would like, and contact us, and we'll have our driver come and pick the stuff up.
Oh, wait, hold on. So wait a minute. Let me back this up. So even if you want to do a food drive, or if you want to make donations and it's the stuff that you take, you'll send a driver to come pick it up?
Yes. We will send our driver to come pick up the items.
All right, so folks, this is a no-brainer. You're partnering with the community. You're partnering with an organization that has, almost 40 years? Over 30.
30
over
years.
30 years track record, specific for Mercer County residents. It's got 3 different locations. They're open to partnering with other organizations. And if you're an individual, they'll come pick it up.
Yes.
Okay, it sounds like a win-win situation to me. Shalanda, can you talk about some of the specific products that that the Crisis Ministry offers to its clients through the Client Choice Program and Food Store?
Well, that varies. We have a lot of name brand stuff like Campbell's, Progresso, Purdue Chicken. We have Kellogg's, Cheerios, the Quaker Oats. It varies. It's so much stuff. The personal care items, Colgate, Crest, Ames. Oh my gosh, it's just so much stuff that the list can go on and on forever.
Yeah.
ShopRite brand items, Wegman brand items, Trader Joe's. It's a lot.
Well, Trader Joe's is one of my family's favorites, but we do shop at a lot of those other locations as well. But so, folks, that goes right into my point. Like, I had this idea in my head about what kind of products were going to be there, or was this one of those pantry places? And I've been shocked, overwhelmed, and feel as though I've got to stand up and make more people, let more people hear about what the Crisis Ministry is doing. I can tell you that I saw enough toothpaste in the back of a truck from a delivery where I think that there are several residents in the county who can get toothpaste probably for the rest of their lives. So big up to, I believe it was Colgate at the time, but you did say AIM and the other suppliers, Church and Dwight, Arm & Hammer, on and on and on. So again, folks, before we wrap up, the Crisis Ministry, their website, thecrisisministry.org. It's crisis, CRISIS, ministry.org. They have 3 locations: Princeton, Nassau Street, Trenton, Hanover Street, and Trenton, Hamilton Avenue. Residents can shop, Trenton residents can shop at either location 1 time a month, so that means you're actually going food shopping twice a month. And for Princeton residents, or people who shop at Princeton who are registered there, should I say, they can go there twice a month as well. You only need some identification, which is a picture ID, proof of your address, proof of any dependents, and then you can come in. You'll be treated with respect, you'll be treated fairly, and more importantly, you will have a choice of what you want to get. So you won't have to go in and worry that you're going to get enough prunes to last you for a month, because I know no one wants that. In addition to that, they have a nutrition class that's affiliated with the Rutgers Extension, a lunch and learn program with Capital Health. They do a community farmers market at the Hanover location, which will be starting, I would assume, very soon. And again, it's a food store, not a food pantry. And I can tell you, they are partnering also with Urban Mission Cabinet, Inc., and the Isles organization. Big up to Marty and Liz Johnson and Jim Simon over there in their garden program, to create an organic garden in partnership with the Bethany House of Hospitality at the 400 Hamilton Avenue location for an all organic garden, and a portion of those items will be donated directly to the Crisis Ministry food store. So what's going to happen then is that literally food is going to be grown and delivered and shared in the community. Take some time and Google that kind of information, urban agriculture, etc. You've been listening to In the public interest, I'm your host, Jacque Howard. This is WIMG 1300 on the AM dial, and over the internet, WIMG.com. And if you're watching us, it's over WZBN Channel 25 in Mercer County. And we've been speaking with Shalanda Williams of the Crisis Ministry. Have a good night.